Greetings, greetings. Tuned in, False Graves. It's a podcast. I'm the host, AK Baby Do the Lightbringer.
And I am the Fur Man.
Welcome, moon and star, come to me through fire and war. Oh, oh, come Nerevar, come and look upon my heart, upon my heart. Oh, lay down your weapons, it is not too late for my mercy. Oh, oh, come and look upon my heart, upon my heart. Oh, oh, oh.
Sipping some of that fresh liquid from America's favorite drive-in, Sonic.
And it only took us 4 hours to get.
This is day 99 of attempting to be more popular than ass and titties. We've made some serious ground over these past few weeks.
We're taking strides off the shoulders of giants.
Strides. So, it's a fun time to be alive, wouldn't you say?
I feel like it's only getting better.
Only getting better. Would you say nothing's getting worse?
I mean, the possible Canadian-American War happening, which I really don't want to go to war with the guys that wrote the Geneva Convention, because we were like, no.
I don't think that'll last long.
I hope not.
So, in the interest of getting us off, not with ass and titties.
Oh, we're getting flat hookers?
I mean, those are the expensive ones.
Damn. Ooh. My credit card bounced for buying these. I mean,
just I'm going to open with a quick rant. I don't know what you've got for tonight. This is something that bothers me greatly. Okay, now maybe a lot of you at home, you don't know anything about shipping. You've never worked with shipping. You've never worked in any form of distribution, yada yada. I understand. But even still, most of you at home, as average consumers, should still be in the same camp I am on this issue. Here's the issue. Aftermarket shipping software is a complete unneeded liability. And so here's my example. You order a package with any company, XYZ, and you get an email. Hey, we've got your order. Good to go. Here's the details. That's fine. We'll send you another email once the item ships out, right?
mm-hmm.
Second email comes through. If you're a company that in that second email has the raw tracking, I want to say you're the right company. You're a good company.
USPS, yada yada.
You understand what the consumer wants. The consumer, your customer, wants the tracking, and they want a link in the email. That is what they want.
That's all in one. That's a 1-2 combo.
Yes.
Don't need any more.
Don't need any more. Now, let's say you're the type of company that instead of sending raw tracking, sends a link to a third-party shipping software, which then provides the tracking.
That sounds like a lot of buttons to click for needing to know where my shit is.
You've now become a nuisance to the consumer experience. And more than a nuisance, you're just an outright degenerate company for offering that service. They want the tracking in the email with a link to the tracking, the raw tracking. They do not want to go to Shipvara or shippykaloo.com and see the fake updates that they've just grabbed from USPS.com. They literally just take the data from USPS, throw it in their app, which is shittier in every way. It has less details. It's less likely to be updated on the spot. It's a complete waste of time.
See, I've got that same feeling in my heart place. Right up there with I used to work with certain companies that would require us to have a second party app to talk to one another, because apparently a phone number or Facebook Messenger, which everybody fucking has,
Yeah.
it's just not good enough.
And now I've got a third offender.
Oh God.
There's a third level to this shit
There's
that I recently stumbled across.
So there's a sub basement in hell.
Yes, there's a third level. Okay, so let's say you don't just get your tracking in the email. Okay, they fucked up. Step number 2, you have to click a link to a third-party shipping software, which then gives you the tracking. Okay, not good. Option number 3.
The worst of the offenders.
The worst. You get an email, hey, your thing is shipped out. Scroll through, looking for the link, looking for the third-party link, looking for tracking, nothing. Okay. So I now have to go onto my account and log in. I have to go via the email to the app or website, log in, and then check my orders to see the tracking. Gets worse.
No, there is no worse than that.
Gets worse.
Can't be possible.
Okay, so I sign in on my phone into the account which I ordered said product from. After receiving the update, something shipped. So I begin to look for the tracking. I have signed in now via the email link. I'm in my account. I'm going to my orders. I'm looking for tracking. And you know what it does? It says, if you'd like to see your tracking updates, please download the app.
No. Oh God. I already have no fucking room on my phone. Why? Who? I want to know these We need another CEO death because of this.
Yeah. And so I want to tell you just how shitty you are if you're this kind of company. The whole goal is to trap the consumer, right? You're going to mind fuck the consumer to such a degree. They don't know up from down. They're like, what the fuck was I looking for? All I know is fucking buy. Where's my tracking? Who gives a shit? I just saw another item I'm going to buy. I was going to get my tracking, but then I saw a fucking SpongeBob ashtray, and I fucking am so dumb. I forgot I was looking for my tracking. Buy, bitch. That's what they want you to be. That consumer. They want to put you through a fucking maze looking for your tracking so you get caught in consumerism.
That's okay. So they're working on casino logic.
In other words, what was the tracking? The products you bought along the way. That is the mentality behind this option.
It sounds like you got fadiddled by Temu.
Meanwhile, there are other companies that exist. This is a counter story to this one. Okay. So a lot of people do editing, photo editing, video editing, etc. I saw on Twitter once a guy tweeted, if your customer has to click more than once to get what they want, you have failed as a producer. You failed at making a good product.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's nice. I wonder how true that is. Like, because obviously businesses don't do that. They're like, we want this fucker to press as many buttons as humanly possible.
And maybe he'll click buy again in the meantime.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, maybe that's true. Sure enough, I saw recently, there's a 17-year-old who recently sold an app called, I'm going to forget the exact name, but I think the name is Text Behind. Text Behind.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, okay, well, what does this app do? All this app does is you upload your photo, you type in a text, and it will drop it behind the subject of the photo. So let's say it's you, and this is the background.
Mm-hmm.
You take a picture, you upload it, and you type in shits and giggles, and it's a floating thing behind your head, but it's still in front of the wall.
Gotcha.
That's the app. Every single photo editing software on Earth allows you to do this. Every one.
Yeah.
Lets you do this.
Photoshop, AI generator, whatever. Yeah.
It's a cheap amount for, let's say an app. But this 17-year-old kid sold this app for $78,000, I want to say. $78,000. All this fucking app does is put a text behind the subject. It does nothing, basically. But you know why it was interesting? People got what they wanted. They just, text behind. Boom, boom, done. They didn't have to fucking go to Adobe Photoshop and go through 50 fucking grids and then sub-menus and then sub-menus on the sub-menus and be like, fucking shit is this?
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, if you don't want to...
Instead, they downloaded text behind.
Yeah, for $2.99? We'll say like $2.99 a pop. For $2.99, you get the whole app. It's the only thing you wanted on the app. Done.
Yeah.
Like, that's all... Again, that's all anybody wants.
It's done. And ChatGPT and AI and shit is going to make that kind of thing just irrelevant.
Mix these two pictures. Boom.
This whole culture of this whole business culture of let's trap the consumer, I'm telling you, that is a dying model. That is a dying business model. Trapping the consumer is going to get you bent over a barrel and penetrated. In a few short years, that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, using the casino model only works because they give out free booze.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. There's not enough wine moms and alkies that are trying to get just a regular product every day.
Yeah. So that just bothers me to my core. Just a little rant. People are like, "Oh, I'm checking my tracking." I'm like, "No, you're not. What's the raw tracking?"
The raw what now? Wait, so you didn't get a link to USPS? No. I got Shopify.
Speaking of Shopify, they recently closed down one of the top performing stores that sold through them.
Was it like a scented candle place?
It was Yeezy.com. Shopify officially closed Yeezy.com.
It took them this long. Like, didn't Nike drop him for like $20 billion last year?
Yeah.
What the fuck did he do this time? What did he do? Did he bust out a gun during the fucking the fucking halftime show or some shit? Started flashing it around in the Super Bowl stadium?
It's just the anti-Semitic stuff. You know,
again with this shit. What did he say? Did he go on Shopify?
Well, I think you know, but like on Twitter, he's been saying a lot of like just hateful stuff about Jews and whatnot. And anyway, while that was going on, he added to his shop a white T-shirt, a blank white T-shirt with a swastika right in the middle. But it gets better. It gets better. So that was mixed in with a lot of other items. So it was the Yeezy store with like 60 items, and you could get the white T-shirt with the swastika. So you had options. Another one was his I don't know if I told you about this, but his P. Diddy merch. He's pro freeing Diddy, and he's been talking about freeing Diddy on Twitter as well. And one of his shirts is Sean Combs, which is P. Diddy's legal name.
Mm-hmm.
You can just get a big Sean Combs and a swastika shirt while you're at it. I mean, it's a one-stop shop.
I'm not surprised that, like, on the back of Sean Combs, it doesn't say, like, it has his face on the back. It's, you know, rape doesn't always mean no.
Yeah. And where else can you go and get Puff Diddy merch and a swastika? Name one shop. Exactly. He's fulfilling a niche.
I don't know. I think I saw a couple floating around Walmart.
But anywho, yeah, he does all that. Things continue on as they have. And here's the funny part. So, he's been known for making Super Bowl ads, placing Super Bowl ads.
Yeah.
Last year, maybe the year before, the whole gimmick was he shot it on an iPhone because he spent all the money on the product research and development. He's like, hey, I shot this on the iPhone. It's just like him chilling. Shot it on an iPhone. This year, another Yeezy ad was played in the Super Bowl. He was getting a new grill, like Diamond Grill, and he's like, hey guys, had to shoot it on the iPhone again. You know, I spent all my money on these teeth. You know, go to Yeezy.com. And before the Super Bowl, he removed every item on his shop except for the white T-shirt with the swastika. So the Super Bowl ad, if you were led to Yeezy.com from the ad, all you could buy was the swastika T-shirt.
That is the equivalent. That is the business equivalent of walking into a meeting, dropping your pants, and taking a shit in the middle of the table, and then being like, "All right, this merger is gonna happen, right?"
Yeah.
I can't fucking Somebody please track him down and give him his medication today.
Yes.
Like,
Well, there is an end to the story.
mm,
The end to the recent Yeezy rant, whatever, Kanye's rant on Twitter, came to be because of Kodak Black. Do you know who that is?
not off the rip, but
Kodak Black's a Florida rapper who's got pretty popular. I wish I could tell you his main songs, but I personally never listened to a lot of his music.
well, I mean, we've all got our tastes and whatnot.
There's that one song, Tell the Doctor, I'm a healthy kid, I smoke broccoli.
Oh, okay.
You know that one?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Kodak Black. He's been in and out of prison. He's had, addiction after addiction, yada yada. He's not a healthy guy, but he's currently out of prison doing music, whatever. A video gets posted of him eating chicken in the middle of the street, like tweaking out. Like his eyes are going everywhere. He's in the middle of the road eating fried chicken. Like somebody found him on the street, some random bystander, and yeah.
All I'm picturing right now is like Jelly Rolls Yang right now.
Yeah.
that's what I'm picturing.
So Kanye, in the midst of his 2-week spree of tweeting just the most absurd thing, says, "Hey, just heard about Kodak. I'm going to fly out and help him. I'm going right now to go see what he's doing. Like I'm going to take care of him." So he stops his Twitter rant. It's like, I got the first flight out to Atlanta or wherever. I'm going to see Kodak. People are saying I'm tweaking out. I'm at peace. He's like, I'm in a cathartic state right now. But I've seen what's happening to this man, Kodak Black, and I got to go help him. So, and thus ended the spree. He deactivated his own Twitter account after that.
Thank you, whoever's running this shit. Thank you so much. It looks like we got something in the chat though, real quick, because I've got so much to say about the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
We've got some chat.
Are they siding with Diddy? I don't have good eyes.
Let's tie it in.
All right. What do you got, chat?
We as consumers want everything yesterday, but we as people are a dying breed because we are becoming a stupid society. We're allowing AI, online shopping, fast food to guide us like zombies without giving any critical thought behind it. Well, very true.
Man, that I would argue with you, but like the other day, I felt my IQ points drop slowly through the day. I used to smoke hella weed like every day, and I never got this stupid. I was playing a game on my phone where it was just move the thing and then move it left or right, and that's it. There was no story behind it. It was just move slightly left or right.
So, before we get into the Super Bowl, we can actually tie that in because it kind of goes hand in hand.
Oh yeah.
I've thought about this a lot. We've got the higher brain and the lower brain, like the primal brain, and then the brain that has reasoning and logic and abstract thinking.
Yeah, the unga bunga brain versus,
Part of the reason society is so predatory, or capitalism is so predatory to us, is because it preys on the primal brain versus the logical brain.
Yeah.
Like most cells is meant to trigger an emotion versus actually thinking about it. It wants to trigger that primal animal self.
Yeah.
And they're becoming so skilled. Like things are becoming so skilled at grabbing our attention and maintaining it.
Yeah, it's like subliminal messaging, but using like icons and shit. Like that's why McDonald's is red and yellow. Both of those in our monkey brains, it just flips a switch. It's like food. Food here.
Exactly.
And it used to be good too, which is worse because they're not even being non-blatant about poisoning us.
And so I think that things are going to get even better at gaming us. The system we have in place is only going to get better at gaming the average human brain. I think with that, on a long enough time scale, the only people that'll really remain will be the ones that honestly are kind of less human because they don't have that primal side.
So you're telling us that autism is an evolution?
Well, it could be. It could play a role.
Yeah, because those guys that just don't have it where it clicks. I mean, I'm not making fun of them one iota. I am actually jealous. If I could focus on like one thing and be stupidly skilled at it.
If you want to know, if you want to point out somebody who is propaganda adverse, it's an autistic dude. Those guys you cannot sell to.
Yeah, seriously. Like there are people out there that are like, hey, do you want to buy these Yeezy brand sleazies? They're $999. They're like, nope, but this Lego set, I'm gonna spend my money on that, not do drugs, and I'll be just fine.
Some of these chat comments are from like way like the topics we were opening with. I wonder if there's a huge delay going on.
It could be.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're delayed. I feel like our stream's been having just so many issues. I'll have to check our settings.
We might have to get on the internet spectrums.
Adley Studios, if you're current on time, leave us a comment that says Super Bowl, so we can see how far behind the chat is.
Yeah, because we want to engage with you the best we can. But if we're playing catch up, it's going to be a little.
So you wanted to talk about the Super Bowl. Speaking of consumerism.
Oh, okay. So first off, we gotta talk about the halftime show.
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh yes, I'm. This is what he did. Made every single one of Drake's producers, his entire company, everybody that looked out for him. The Grammys were already a hard hit. I guarantee you, somebody jumped from a balcony after busting a nut.
At the Grammys?
No. At the Super Bowl. Yeah, there's probably two from the Grammys, but right after the Super Bowl. Oh my god, dude.
Why would they do that?
Well, it's Goonacide.
Oh yeah, Goonacide.
But like, dude, if I was on Drake's team, I'd be like, you have either got to kill him today in broad daylight right now.
You're just taking skits from YouTube now.
No, I'm just saying he said it, but I thought oh my god, dude. I was thinking that he was so right about this, which by the way, shout out to Long Beach Griffey, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Dude, love him. But like, he was so right. You got to kill him, or you need to go into witness protection tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, be done with go. Now is the time to duck out.
Yeah. Well, shout out to our biggest fan, Adley Studios. I do think you're our biggest fan, and we haven't done our job of getting you some company. Like, we need to get some more fans. Get Adley Studios some company in the chat. Like, we got it. We've kind of season 2 has kind of been like that. That's that lull.
Yeah. Right now we've already got like one main character death.
Let's just say a lot of things are going on the other side of the ice wall. We're consistent, but we're gonna get a lot more ambitious.
Yeah, I think that we might have got shadow banned for a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I'm bringing up something on my phone I want to show you. Referencing Drake.
But Adley Studios, thanks for being a real one.
Yeah, so Drake is known for being corny.
Mm-hmm.
Common Drake criticism.
If you ever watched Degrassi, yes.
He recently started a tour. I think it's like one of his first shows in the tour, post the Kendrick beef. And he posted a photo on his Instagram where he's got like smoke coming out of his jacket. Photo's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's this comment that killed me. Like, this is the corniest. This is like making corny a sport. So here's what Drake says. They thought Einstein was lying, and Shakespeare was barely rhyming, and Edison wasn't lit despite what he was designing. So how can I give a fuck what they say about my stars aligning? I'd never read anything that corny in my entire life.
That's right up there with roses are red, violets are blue. I want a prom date. Will it be you?
Like, what is this?
Dude, now
honestly, Drake got so cooked it kind of feels like a humiliation ritual at this point.
Yeah, because even if he were to drop a banger, a certified God's plan tomorrow, it's still
There is a comment Kendrick brought up that he said at the Super Bowl I want to bring up. Because at this point, I find this another corny ass comment. It is so overdone. Kendrick says, "The revolution will be televised." Okay, the fuck does that mean? They've been saying that since I was born. The revolution will be televised. What revolution, Kendrick? Tell me. What revolution?
Yeah, this ain't hate. I'm genuinely stupid and he's curious, so.
I am curious.
And I'm stupid.
London Roads, Lil Wayne, Free Weezy album. The revolution will be televised. I just pray I will be memorized. Kendrick Lamar, Super Bowl, last week. The revolution will be televised. Fucking Biggie. I don't know the date. Revolution will be televised. What revolution, guys? I don't see it.
Now, see, but Biggie Smalls and like Tupac and shit, like those guys, when they said that shit was going on.
Yeah.
LA riot. Oh yeah, the LA riots.
A revolution means big shit is happening. Like really big shit. Like board up your windows and lock your doors.
Buy all the eggs from Costco today.
Yeah. And I'm not seeing that is what I'm saying. He also said they picked the wrong guy at the right time. Kendrick said that. What kind of corny ass shit is that? So that's some corny ass shit too.
Yeah, true. But you know what they say about sayings? They're corny because they're true.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
that one was corny.
oh yeah. Sayings are sayings for a reason, dude.
Yeah. I think once a saying becomes a saying, it should be like kind of like a Hall of Fame jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like mounted, put it on fucking DC, and then you're not allowed to say it anymore. Like you just can't say it anymore.
I'm just imagining a jersey with like, in life a little rain will fall.
Like think about how much better life would be if we stole. Okay, this is a good one. If we stole every single fucking trope, every single fucking saying, how much more work people would have to do just to communicate. Like imagine live, laugh, love was stolen from women, mounted, the legacy, so people will know, and then never said again. Like you get caught saying live, laugh, love, that's life. Like
survive, chuckle, and enjoy happiness with another person.
Eventually we'd all sound like when you go to a foreign land and you're buying the English products.
Very good soap time. Much yes. Hello.
Happy enjoyment, peaceful.
Super big drink. Yum yum.
It really is like that. When I was in Taiwan, yeah, there's so much merch that's just like that. But no, it's like we just continually repeat these sayings, and when you go online and you hear people talk and you're like, holy shit, you're the 30th person I've heard say this.
It kind of gets to be a little bit much.
We're using Streamlabs, guys. Streamlabs.
But like, I think that some sayings necessarily have to stay in society. Like, fuck around, find out. I mean, that's not trying to sound hard, but like also what Benjamin Franklin said, it's all about boats and hoes.
Yeah. He also said it was all about the Benjamins.
Oh yeah. Which is, could you imagine if they told him like, hey, in 100 years, everybody's going to have one of you in their wallet?
Would you rather be on the $1 or the $100?
Oh, the $100, because the $1 is about to be phased out. Like,
see,
so.
That's what I was going to say. But okay. Would you rather be on the $1 or the 100 before you knew money was being devalued at a rate that $1? Because if you told me as a kid the $1 bill's going away, I'd have said, you're out of your fucking mind. The $1's never going away.
Yeah.
And then, now that we're our age, oh, well, that's the new penny. Okay. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, which it kind of sucks that a $100 bill is like a $10 bill.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting fucking ridiculous with this inflation.
It is. So yeah, I would say it is worth the cost. Adley Studios, it's not that pricey. The user interface is very easy to understand. I'm not a tech guy, and I feel like it's pretty easy to use. So I would recommend it personally, what we stream through.
and he's their tech guy. So like, I don't know shit about shit on that.
I mainly chose out of what was more easy for what was more simple. Like whatever the simpler option was, more user friendly was what I picked on.
Yeah, he wanted something that he wasn't gonna have to click 100 times to get running.
Yeah, because we're new to streaming. I mean, fundamentally new. This is our first time ever streaming.
Yeah, I mean, fucking.
This show is our first streaming process.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of buttons on that keyboard, and they ain't even on his mouse. Like,
only one of us can actually read, guys. So we're working with limited mental faculties.
Thank you for everyone out there. We're gonna get shadow banned for that for sure.
What do you guys think of the U.S. tariffs on Canadian products?
Wait, us or them? Because like,
what do you guys think of the U.S. tariffs on Canadian products? That would mean their products that's coming here having tariffs on them.
I can't read, so I was wondering if you were saying that for us or for them. Because like, honestly, I hate it. I don't want to go to war with Canada. So they are so nice until they start putting cans of food out there and launching grenades into them after people show up. I don't want to know what they can do with a drone.
Yeah.
They'd make it look like a bird, make it land like near you, and then it'd be like.
I'll give my take on the tariffs. But it's kind of not. I won't say it's Canada specific. It's just what I think about Trump's idea to do tariffs across the board. I think a lot of people are short-sighted. A lot of the critics are very short-sighted when they go, tariffs don't work. Tariffs increase the cost to the average consumer. I think that's short-sighted. I think in the short term, of course, they're going to increase cost. When you've got a free market between two countries and the countries decide, hey, we're going to upcharge on each side, of course, people are going to have to spend more money.
Yeah.
The average consumer will initially have to take a blow. The reason why I think long term it can be good, at least for the United States and maybe even for Canada, is because it's really what do you call it? A power play on Trump's part. I explain it like this. The world needs American finance to sustain itself. All the economies of the world, even if America has a lot of areas it needs to improve, they still need us. They still need American money everywhere. Every country on earth needs American money. And so when everybody in the world needs what you have and you put a premium on it on a long enough time period, they have to concede. A concession will have to be made. Because if the way that you exist is off American money and Americans go, well, you're going to have to start being charged a premium to engage with our economy, that's going to fuck you over a long enough time period.
Yeah, but the problem is how long can we hold out?
Well, I think we can hold out probably, well, obviously not forever, but I think we're we're comfortable. I think we can hold out for longer than the other places can.
Mm. Well, I mean, like half of our products come from Mexico and China, so
yeah.
Well, actually, most of our products from China come from Korea. Which is funny to think that made in China thing, the North Koreans make that.
Yeah.
That is just fucking bananas to me.
The biggest threat, in my opinion, outside of like a war, but in terms of economics the U.S. has, is we've become a non-manufacturing nation. Like, of course, we make some things still, but as a country, we fundamentally don't do a lot of exporting. We're not exporters.
Not really. No, we like to stay close to home.
Yeah, we're a service-based economy. We've got a lot of money. People like for us to spend it, but we don't make a lot. And I think as long as we're not a manufacturing country, we'll, of course, have some
growing pains.
Some risk. Or it's a weakness. It's a genuine weakness.
Yeah.
Well, it's like semiconductors rule the world, like for computer chips. Mm-hmm. Taiwan makes, the majority of all the semiconductors in the world.
Canada's got us on Tim Hortons.
Yeah, and you drop a tariff on that, I mean, you could just fuck us.
Oh, serious.
There's many ways. So I think U.S. does need to be a manufacturing nation again. I think Trump's pushing for that. My main concern is that, and I think I've mentioned this before, the average American isn't interested in manufacturing. Like, I just think our nation as a whole is relatively lazy. And I know Vivek Ramaswamy lost his whole brand basically over saying that, but Americans need to be less lazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good thing our brand is small enough now, because, like...
Yeah.
So what's going on in the chat? Like, what are your guys' opinion on that?
Are Americans lazy? What do you guys think? I'm curious, because I don't want to sound like I'm just a hater, but I think Americans are looking for, how do I get the most amount of money for the least amount of work possible?
Seriously, you're not wrong. You're not wrong on that. And on top of that, we want what we want. We're going to take what we want when we want it.
That's why the drug problem is so prevalent in America.
Yeah, well, that and they're very good sellers. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, do you not want to think about anything? Here's a powder that'll make you both happy and then sad later.
Yeah. Great stuff. I mean, you trade the short term for the long term. Talk about a deal.
Oh, yeah, seriously. That's how alcohol got me.
Yeah.
Look, you can sit here and be depressed about your problems for a little bit, then do something to fix them. Or, hear me out, drink something that makes you sleepy and angry at the same time.
Yeah. I've lived in America, and I love the spirit. I like the fundamental spirit of the nation. But if you were to ask me about the average American, no. The average American is not it.
Yeah, if you walk through Walmart about 3 o'clock in the morning, you will see the average American. Most of us are in sleep pants and wife beaters and flip-flops. Not Crocs, because we don't have that kind of money.
Now, if you want to see future UFC fighters, you go to Waffle House at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, yeah. If you want to know who's going to be running on that show, Cops, go to Waffle House. Oh, what do we got? It's blowing up in there.
I don't think anyone is lazy per se. I think our institutions have promoted it. I agree with that pretty strongly, because I think it's basic human instinct to take advantage of situations as much as you can. If we have institutions that promote hard work and reward it accordingly, and laziness is not considered a virtue in any way. Yeah, I mean, I do think our institutions promote it. There's welfare, there's government assistance.
Which, I mean, for certain instances, it's both required
and you gotta,
necessary,
when you talk about government assistance, there are actual women who talk about accumulating enough baby daddies to live for free. They're like, once you get 5 or 6, I think is like when you start getting that kind of living the life territory.
Yeah, you're getting WIC, you're getting money, you're getting housing assistance.
And so like there's actually groups of women, I'm not making this up, you can go on like Facebook and find them, who like talk about hunting down baby daddies, like to try and get to that break even level.
And see, that's actually funny to me, because like that is so true. Like when like back in the day, like here's a little history lesson for you. We used to not have that kind of social support for single moms until I think it wasn't Nixon, it was like Eisenhower. Then people started to realize, like, hey, if dad's not involved, the government will pay me.
Mm-hmm.
And the dad's like, hey, I get to fuck and then I get to leave. So, I mean, that explains the rise of scumbags in this country.
Yeah. It's a crazy system.
But I'm on my 4th baby daddy, so I'm almost at that money.
You're almost there.
I'm almost there. It's just, with a beard and a penis, it's just really hard to...
You tried to get me, but I was too smooth for it.
Oh, I think the word is straight.
So, hey, 8 viewers, thanks for tuning in.
Pew, 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 pew. Talking about penises and having them.
We got, I want to talk about this a little. I'm interested in your thoughts. So, let's talk about that. It says, we have almost as many marijuana stores as Starbucks. This is a Canadian.
Ah.
Our fearless leader legalized pot, because that's a good thing. And then like a begrudged face.
it's the lesser of two evils, at least. Like,
You think? What's the other evil?
oh, alcohol
Oh,
for sure. Like, I
yeah.
most people that smoke marijuana, they're lazy. Don't get me wrong, and they have a lack in mental fortitude in most instances, because if they're a habitual user, it doesn't matter if there's a job interview, it doesn't matter if you're going to a funeral, it doesn't matter if you're in a movie theater, they're going to hit a pen or a gummy or whatever. But alcoholics, most car accidents that kill people are due to drunk driving.
Yeah. So I know there's different opinions, and substances can affect people very differently.
Mhm.
But between the two, I do feel alcohol has more forward momentum. It has more productive momentum than weed, in the sense that you're more likely to get something done drinking than you are smoking weed.
Yeah.
And some people actually smoke weed to be productive. I know there's the type. I don't think they're common, but there is the type that's like, I don't work unless I'm getting high. Like,
Yeah.
that's what makes me productive.
Yeah, some people can hit a sativa and then be the next best thing.
For me personally, it has an incredible lazy effect, an extreme lazy effect. I'm almost allergic to work if I smoke weed. And I don't like to be unproductive. So I try to do it quite rarely. I mean, very rarely. But
I saw you look at a gummy one time. All right.
yeah. I don't know how people get work done when they're high, honestly.
Me either. Like, I used to be able to do it, but then I started doing that thing where you're like, well, if I can smoke weed, what's a shot? What's 2 shots?
Yeah.
What's 5 shots? And then it's
Yeah.
But what's our chat say?
Both situations still from your mind. I agree with that. I've never been terrible with substances. I've never had an addiction other than energy drinks. That one I was able to beat.
Morning pick-me-ups.
But energy drinks was probably my biggest addiction, or my most difficult, if there ever was one. But I'm slowly leaning towards a sober life, like a fully sober life. I'm getting closer to it, and I'm sure some people will be like, oh, a sober life? That's no fun.
Oh, straight-laced and being able to remember everything. What a terrible fucking day.
But I find myself growing closer to that probably every day.
See, I'm still struggling with the problem that I have for being over the ice wall. We're in a particular area that hasn't fully legalized marijuana, and that's one of the things that's helped me steer clear of it.
Yeah, they legalized fucking whippets
With the Galaxy gas.
with Galaxy, but they didn't legalize marijuana.
Yeah, well, we have a diet form of it, which is allegedly stronger. THCP, THCPD, CBD.
That stuff has a different feel.
It almost feels like remember back in the day, salvia? I'm not gonna lie, as a 15-year-old kid, I was able to go ahead and get a hold of something called White Widow right before I went to go see not The Walking Dead, Evil Dead 2. Not Evil Dead 2, but Evil Dead the remake.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost shit myself in that movie theater. I didn't feel relaxed at all. Every other scene, it's like, and then all of a sudden I'm like,
so that doesn't sound relaxing. I've been there.
oh my god, dude.
I've been there.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've tried everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Hand to God, look,
He has. I will attest to this.
Cocaine is not something that you want to get addicted to, and once you start hanging around with those people, it's easy to be addicted. But once you leave those people, it's so easy to not do it.
I'll tell you one thing, maybe a little bit too much information for the chat, but this is just something I'm curious about. Maybe we have some sober people, some whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a big user in any way, but if sex didn't exist,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would have ever used any substance ever. Like, nothing.
If sex didn't exist, I wouldn't be here.
Well, true. But the only thought behind using any substance for me is, how do I fuck on it?
Well, then,
Is that a common
Oh,
way
yeah.
of thinking?
Yes, trust me. If you've ever tried acid and then fucked on it, it's a truly transcendent experience. until you feel like you've been donkey punched in your kidneys, and then you realize that all of your insides are wet, and you have to like you can.
That does not sound pleasant.
No, because it always happens without fail. About halfway through, I can actually feel my intestines moving my shit, and it's just not. I have to lay in the shower and manually breathe.
Well, it's just that, and then there's eating. How do I eat on it? Those are the two.
Yeah, and
I don't enjoy the substances themselves. I'm like, how does sex feel? How does eating feel on the substance? Okay, now I can see why people do this.
Oh yeah, well, then, I mean,
sex, drugs, rock and roll. They're saying exactly.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, and that's why I did. I'm not gonna lie. I tried a little bit of that ice, some of them crystals, and I'm not gonna lie. Being able to fuck for 4.5 hours straight. Afterwards, you're not thinking, oh man, I might have a problem. This is a really serious drug. It's like, this is fantastic. I am a god. But.
And you didn't even have to go to the doctor.
Nope. You can just go right down the street to Steve. But me and Steve don't talk no more. But.
Fair enough.
But what I'm trying to get out of this is, what if we were to get rid of liquor, marijuana, and tobacco tomorrow? What do you think would happen to this country?
I think probably a lot of social unrest.
Yeah, because a lot of people use it as a social binder.
Yeah, and I think you've got withdrawals, you've got people who use it as crutches. I think, okay, if it was spread out, I'd have a different answer. But all at once, I think the sheer amount of people going through withdrawals would turn into like a massive ball of just riots and anarchy, like across the board.
Just what happened with Trump though, like with him banning, like doing the ICE reports and shit like that. Like LA has been on fire for like a couple of days, ain't it?
Yeah, I think it's finally out now.
LA.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, like they were breaking cop cars and everything. Dude, back in the early aughts, if you can remember back in the day, chat, here over the ice wall, they tried to ban cigarettes. They told everybody, look, this is a poison. It guaranteed will get you hooked. It will get you killed. And it's everywhere. You can go down to the store and find it. And everybody was like, I knew 70-year-old ladies who were smoking Virginia Slims. I wish the fuck you would.
Something interesting about the cigarette ban and whatnot. I want to talk about this. You know how in some places they have to put like the grotesque imagery on the cigarette box?
Oh yeah, the UK, it's like a lung and shit.
Yeah. So when I was in Taiwan, a decent bit of people over there actually smoke cigarettes. I don't really smoke cigarettes, but every now and then I'll have a cigar. I was like, screw it. I'll smoke some cigarettes. It'll be like
10 in a year, one time. Okay.
Yeah. So I went to get a pack of cigarettes, and the box has that terrible imagery. It's like somebody's eyes like rotting out from cancer, jaw falling off, that kind of thing. But I had to get a lighter too, and the lighters at least the shop I was at all had pictures of like naked women on them, like attractive naked women. So it's like, here's your box with a dude's jaw hanging off his face, and here's a really hot naked woman you can light the cigarette with. So it's like the duality.
Yeah, and when you flip it over, she turns into a different naked lady, actually.
That's so comical to me, like that you get the two depictions of human existence, life and death.
Yeah.
Because what's more life than a hot woman?
It's the only thing in life I want. Actually, I'll take the ugly ones too.
Yeah. Some life there.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, the ugly ones just do it a little bit better. I don't know if it's the practice or if they don't know if it's going to happen again, but like those ones, they will give you that 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a reason when you look at the leaders of the world, none of them are actually very attractive.
Which is weird.
So like among the normal, like in the middle where most people are at, attractive people kind of rise to the top.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the grand scale, they never rise to the tippy top. And that tells me that it's because to be the best, you got to be a little ugly. Like you have to have some hardship. Like when you're beautiful and people are just like,
giving you everything.
Yeah, like you just naturally get everything. You're not going to be as skilled as somebody who looks like a turkey. Like Trump. Like, he's not unattractive, but the man's got a turkey neck. Like, it's like he could be the...
Dude, don't...
You could serve him for Thanksgiving.
Oh, you can even go back further than that. Benjamin Franklin. He used to be a fucking ladies' man. Dude, he was getting poon in Paris.
I heard he basically invented syphilis.
Yeah, dude. Well, he got it from the Indians, spread it over there. But, you know, whatever.
American syphilis. That's Benjamin.
Oh, what did you get yours, Stacy? Oh, I got mine from Benjamin Franklin.
You know the whole lightning key on a lightning rod?
Yeah.
That was him trying to cure the syphilis.
He's just got a string going from the kite to the key to his dong.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. It was tied to his dick.
From now on, if I'm going to do something crazy, I'm going to tell everybody I'm going full Benjamin.
He was like the original Jackass. That's why, you know, it's such an American show.
I could just imagine him being like, hey, George Washington, come here. Thomas Jefferson, come on. Alexander Hamilton, you stay the fuck over there. Record this on thy quill. Hi, my name is Benjamin Franklin. Welcome to Tiny Horse. We're going to play Lightning Rod.
Bro, if we had an AI, like, we can regenerate the past and the future, like in a simulation.
Yeah.
It'd be like Mr. Beast games. We gave the founding fathers smartphones.
They're fucking what?
George Washington recorded what?
Oh my god. Abraham Lincoln, he just like breaks it out. He starts recording the show. John Wilkes Booth behind him. He's blocking the screen. I can't fucking see anything. The hat was bad enough.
Somebody's saying pretty people aren't hungry enough. It's true. That's true.
Yeah, that explains why I'm so fat.
So this might be a controversial topic. It might offend some people in the chat. Sorry, but I gotta say it. So a lot of people might make. I hear a lot of people online make the comparison about women and men. Men have it harder, women have it easier, yada yada. I think that might be generally true, but people are like, all women need to have a good life is to be pretty.
It does make it easier,
or
it gets you murdered.
I've thought about this a lot, and I think, okay, maybe that's easier to a degree. However, there's a huge downside to it. And it's this. Okay, so if to be a good man, you have to be good in multiple areas. There's at least multiple venues of expertise you could be. Like multiple venues that you could excel in.
Yeah, you could be shit at doing jobs, but if you're a good talker, people will ride with that.
If you only have like one thing that's really important in the sexual marketplace, I mean, of course, also just being a good person. Like,
yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're hot but you're a bitch...
That only rides some of the time.
It ain't gonna last forever. But I think when so much value is placed on one thing, it really adds an all-consuming pressure. It adds a pressure that makes it infinitely more difficult. I've found that the hardest thing for people to get, the hardest thing for anyone to achieve, is the thing that they want the most. Like, it's so much easier to get something you don't want. Like, a trick I actually use to get things I want is to want them less.
And then eventually the universe gives it to you.
And then, like, think about other things. Like, do things that might allow me to have it, but somehow put it away.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, with women, when beauty is such a standard, and it's, like, such an individual thing...
Mm-hmm.
I could understand where it could actually be comparably as difficult.
Well, I think that you're not wrong on that. I think the challenges are just in different areas. Like, men and women have equally hard lives.
Yeah.
Down the middle. We don't have to worry about getting pregnant, but most of the murders and shit like that happen to us. And if
you look at the stats on suicide, We're better at it.
Woo! Winning. And when it comes down to like supporting a household, we're slowly starting to move away from, well, I make the money, you make the sandwiches kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if let's say you're a drop dead gorgeous woman, absolute 10 out of 10, everybody that's ever met you wants to fuck you. That's the problem. Everybody wants to fuck you. Everyone. I couldn't imagine the pressure as a woman to keep a seal on it when I'm having to walk around rocking double D's and a BBL. Like I'd be, that is so much pressure to have to like talk that many dicks down at once. Like, hey, no, I'm sorry, I'm married.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be an that's what I mean. It's an all-consuming thing, and it makes it that much harder. That's why the same way I think people are kind of branching out now. But like you got the like a sports player who make $200 million playing basketball for 10 years, but the moment he tries to do something other than basketball or comment on basketball, people are like, "The fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like,
look at Michael Jordan. When he went over to baseball, people were like, "What the? Why?"
yeah, it's like, "Oh, you can't do that. You got this one thing.
This is your thing. We all decided as a group, this is your thing."
Yeah. So I do think it's a comparable issue.
Yeah.
The difficulty is comparable.
Oh, and here's the worst part. Even let's say that you are a hot woman. You can do everything right. And if you're married or dating even, you still run the chances of getting cheated on. If Tom Brady got cheated on, none of us have a fucking shot. For those of you Canadian listeners, I don't know if you watch our American football, but
yeah. Good old Brady. That's
Right.
an American hero.
he plays footballs very well, yes.
Yeah.
Brought a lot of money to the Patriots.
He handled it quite well, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah, most
He
people.
went and won a Super Bowl.
That is a Taylor Swift version of a fucking breakup song if I ever heard
Yeah.
of it.
That's pretty clean. That's Brady.
Like, I'll give him that. That takes determination. Because I'm not gonna lie, the last breakup that I went through, considering it was a divorce, I mean,
What do you think about therapy in America? Have you ever gotten therapy?
no.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of therapy. It only.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I've been to a lot of therapists, both emotional and physical. But I feel like therapy only works for people that are dedicated enough to try and get out of their shit.
Yeah.
Therapy is only having somebody else sit across the table from you and go, "Okay, so how do you think that a good way for you moving forward
Yeah.
out of this? How do you think that you should do that?" Because their job is not to tell you how to live your life.
Yeah, it's to be a guide.
It's to nudge you towards more positive decisions. Like, hey, look, you said that you wanted to lose more weight. Well, what's the issue?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't stop myself. Every time I walk past, Subway, I think of Jared, and I don't want to eat there anymore. Okay. What about other fast food restaurants? Well, I go in there because I don't want to go to Subway. Well, Subway's not the only place that serves healthy food.
Imagine. Okay, wait. This is just my sadistic brain working its magic. You telling the story. Imagine someone set out with a goal to get a therapist to kill themselves via exposure to their own mind. Or like, they're such a toxic patient that they managed to get the therapist to kill themselves. Imagine that's on your record. Well, my last therapist killed himself.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that happens more often with like therapists in prison. So I just gotta ask, we've had a lot of great sessions and I feel like you've really grown as a person. What are you in here for? Child pornography?
Yeah.
Really? Great. Oh, and I ate a baby, I fisted a goat, The cops found me high on meth rolling in a pool of blood.
Yeah. And the reason I'm here is I'm trying to do more of all of that, because it brought so much joy to my soul.
Yeah, I mean, like my last therapist, he kept trying to talk about, maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're looking pretty good over there, pretty tasty.
So a truth that I've come to accept, even though I hate it, and I grew up in a privileged way, almost the antithesis of this truth.
White.
So it makes it hard.
Yes.
But somebody commented this. I view marriage as a lease agreement and nothing more. All leases come to an end, and all leases will be broken. Everyone looks for the new lease. Now, I want to make this comment not specifically about marriage, but the uncomfortable truth that I've come to accept is, and I've heard this, some people have said this online, everything is rented. The moment you start to view everything as being rented, it'll actually benefit you.
Because when it finally happens, you're like, well, I knew it was going to happen.
Well, people like to think, especially me, that's what I mean. You get something and that's that. Like, that's what we all want to believe. We get something and that's that. Like, you win the lottery, that's that.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about money anymore. Meanwhile, 2/3 of lottery winners go bankrupt because it was rented, right?
Well, not just that. Everybody they know is like, you got $10 million? What about that time I loaned you $1? Buy me a house. Come on.
And so the unescapable, painful truth, is everything has to be worked for, even after you own it. Like, even after you get what you want, it's a job. So, like, everything that you want to a degree is maintenance.
Oh, yeah. And that's why a lot of people fall out, is because they don't think that it's maintenance.
Yeah, well, everyone wants to get what they want and then not have to think about it.
Yeah.
And I'm super privy to thinking like that. I've had to try and condition myself out of it because that's just how I think.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people, get fat, because hey, I got food. I never have to think about anything again. Why see a doctor? I'm not hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I really think the best way to keep anything you want, to get anything you want, is there's no such thing as owning anything. Yeah. Genuinely.
You got to keep going.
Yeah.
And I think that's something, I think that you're right on that. It's just humans by nature, all they used to want was food, shelter, and some warm cash. Mm-hmm. Which I know that's a disrespectful term, but
gash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if you said cash or gash.
A little bit of both, actually. Yeah. 4 things.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's something that was supposed to be hardwired, that we're slowly as a society starting to disconnect.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the hard reality is you have to be, unfortunately, over-earning everything.
Yeah, because eventually there's going to be a time in your life where you're not.
Yeah.
And that it sucks. But, that's life.
Entropy.
It's a never-ending battle.
We're going to beat entropy, they say. The tech gurus, Brian Johnson, Mr. Live Forever. Humans are going to beat entropy.
Yeah, the trick is to have a sun and steal his plasma.
I can't think of the kind of... Okay, I'm a positive guy. I'm excited for how chaotic the future will get. There'll be good and bad, but I enjoy the chaos. But I cannot imagine the kind of monsters we will be if we find a way to live hundreds of years. I'm telling you now, if you think humans are bad now, you give us an extra 400 years...
Oh, it's going to be so much worse.
That's not going to make us better.
Yeah, no, because people will start to choose hey, you're only in your first 100 years. Who hasn't committed manslaughter one time, gone to jail for 30 years and then got out,
Yeah. I just know if you give us more time, it ain't going to be good for us.
Oh, yeah, and the internet being the way it was, again, back in the early aughts, people used to comb through people's channels, Twitters, what have you. And then they'd be like, this guy said the N-word one time on Twitter. We have to cancel him, ruin his lives. 400 years, it's going to take a lot more searching, but they will find it.
Yeah. I have a heart. We'd have to be a whole different type of being for that to work. we'd have to be a totally different type of human for 400 years to be balanced. Half of us can hardly make 50 years work, okay? Like, people are struggling just to get through 50.
Yeah, that's why I'm checking out at 50. I'm not even trying to be a good person. I'm just out here trying everything.
You show up to the suicide ward when the day after they invented like the thing that lets us live another 400 years. Guess what, guys?
Boom!
If you wanted to end it now, well, guess what? You got 300 more years to go.
Oh my god, could you imagine you walk into like the live forever place, like they got to give you your shot to live forever, and you just see brains play like
it just wouldn't work.
On the ceiling?
Here's a prime example. Musicians and the 27 Club. Some of the greatest musicians in human history were in the 27 Club. Imagine the 27 Club becomes the 128 Club.
I can't listen to that many years of Taylor Swift. I can't.
You think they'd be as good anymore? You think they'd be
No.
revered?
No, only people that would be able to swap it up would be revered. Everybody else would eventually fall into obscurity.
Yeah. There's something about the finite makes it all a little more interesting.
Yeah, and I think that, and this is going to sound shitty, I think that we can check out early
And
makes-
also, yeah.
makes life more beautiful.
And also kids, I think, bring an innocence to the world. They bring a humility. I think they're good for our souls. And every developed nation has a declining birth rate. You give us an extra 300 years, you're going to have women, and men, 130 years old being like, I'm young. I'll have kids when I'm older.
Oh, dude, even worse. Imagine a 600-year-old woman with a reproductive system that works till she's 500, and
Yeah.
she's one of those women that are like, you know what? 80 kids, half of them graduated high school, the other half I don't talk to.
The first multi-billionaire off child support and alimony payment.
I can see the TED Talks. Women, we need to all come together. Well, they need to come inside you. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yeah.
It's going to be terrible.
I think it would be hell. At the same time, you give me the option, I'm probably taking it. You give me the option for 300 more years, I would take it because as far as we know, this could be the last this life experience. Like, there's an afterlife, which I believe in. You could be reincarnated, yada yada. But for the one life that you have, you might as well get all you can.
Yeah, because there ain't no telling. Like, we could get reincarnated and be eaten by a giant fucking
Yeah,
space whale or whatever. We don't know for sure.
exactly. So I'm like, we do know we're here. Hopefully.
God,
And so
imagine.
we keep it going.
Imagine if you do respawn. Imagine with all your thoughts, your mind being what it is, you have to spend 9 months in a flesh prison.
Let me go out on this theory. Final topic. When speaking of simulation theory, I think to a degree you could argue simulation theory and even creation theory are the same thing. There's a dimensional being which controls this time and space. In whatever format they control it, or however it came to be, it's a simulation of some sort.
Yeah, there's AI versus God, which
Yeah.
would be running the program, who's running the program.
And so as we're beginning to develop, more digital things, AI, whatnot,
Sex bots.
computers,
Yeah.
the way that, graphical fidelity is generated can be quite interesting. Like, in a video game, like one of the new graphics cards by NVIDIA
Mhm.
has part of the programming, part of the reason it's able to get the frame rates it's going to be getting is AI assisted.
Mhm.
And the way that it's assisted is not all the frames are generated like normal, but they're generated in real time as you observe them in the game. Meaning, you could boot up a game from a couple years ago, an open world game,
Mhm.
and you'd look in a 360 radius, and all of that would have already been rendered.
Yeah.
But with the new technology, what's rendered will only exclusively be what you're looking at. when you turn, it renders in real time.
Yeah.
And so
Object permanence goes away.
I wonder if part of the reason life seems so crazy now, and it's getting crazier, is our reality was designed not to have this level of observance. There's so many things being observed now at once. What if we're breaking the code? Like, we're breaking the structure.
I think that you're onto something here, because that explains why back in the day you didn't hear about, John Peterson being depressed. You just heard about him tilling the field.
Right.
And that was all you really knew about him. But nowadays you can go on Facebook, Twitter, Bing, if you wanted, and you can learn about Russian nuclear secrets, the famines that are happening in North Korea. You can learn about your ex who's doing way better without you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just me and my life, but everything feels less real to me than it used to. And maybe that's because I'm older, and as a kid, things are maybe that's growing up. But it feels like everyone feels that. On some level, we're all feeling it. That things feel a little more shallow, like fictitious.
Yeah, and I think, again, that you're onto that because, again, back in the early aughts, you, as a kid, all you really had to worry about was school, mom, dad. That's it. That was all that you needed to lock away in here. But now, if every day you're being lied to, we have a global catastrophe on every channel.
Yeah.
We're creating new problems for things we already have solutions for. Like the whole gender thing. I think people either get bored or fall into a despair because of it.
Yeah.
And that's where like a lot of the other issues start to pop up that we've made for ourselves, like the opioid addiction and depression pills and shit. Not saying that they don't work.
Yeah.
But
and Adley Studios is saying that is exactly what consciousness and quantum is. And yeah, I do know about that study where an observer will change the outcome. It's like on an atomic or quantum level, there was this study done where the moment someone observed it, it changed its action. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like a double slit theory, something like that.
I really want to read this paper now.
Basically, there's like frequencies. And the moment someone views them, the frequency changed.
Okay, so like not a person, but like let's say, this right here, me looking at it right now is changing it.
Yeah. It's you could think in a way you're making it. In a way you are manifesting it.
Kind of yes, kind of no. Because like that would explain a lot with what's wrong with society, because like behind that there's also perception.
Yeah.
Like if I was colorblind, I'd think that is ruby colored. But that's clearly green.
And I'm going, if observation plays a role in actual like quantum structure, and now everything's got a camera on it, we got telescopes in space, we're looking at things at levels we've never looked before.
Maybe our brains just weren't meant to process.
I'm like, maybe things are starting to just deconstruct.
Well, a little
That's
bit.
why, like, some things that happen that are so random, like they come out of nowhere. And I'm like, maybe that was a product of all this looking.
Matt, maybe that's why celebrities go crazy. That many eyes following you at that much of a time.
And that's why one of the things I advocate for is always be in the light. Because if you stare at the light long enough, you'll cease to be able to see it all, thus reducing one observer from the world and bringing natural order back.
See, I was just going to stab my eyes out, but I might go check out the sun tomorrow. I got a cheat sheet for this. Give me another one. Give me another one.
Yeah.
But
it's been nice.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at y'all, looking at us, looking at us,
looking at you, and we looked at you.
In this moment, maybe we're in the quantum realm. We need only feel it.
Put that shit on a t-shirt.
All right, if you're in the chat, go ahead and make this levitate.
1 minute. Let me get my good glasses.
We're gonna put the focus on.
I was actually trying to do it.
All right, see you guys. Furman, you got anything?
Remember, everybody, stay positive and test negative.